Welcome back to GH Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the issue that is set to ignite deep emotional conflict and reshape the fates of multiple lives in Port Charles. After months of recovery, trauma, betrayal, and secrets, Michael Corinthos is finally back, physically healed, emotionally sharper, and more determined than ever to reclaim what matters most, his children. But what begins as a custody battle quickly becomes a personal reckoning, as Michael drops a bombshell that exposes the darkest betrayal from the two people Willow trusted the most, Drew and Nina. For a long time, Michael Corinthos had no intention of entering into a bitter custody fight with Willow. Despite the pain of their fractured marriage and the trauma of his injuries from the explosion at Sonny's house, Michael always hoped that co-parenting could be peaceful, for the sake of Wiley and Amelia. But things changed. As he observed from a distance during his recovery, Michael grew increasingly concerned by the environment his children were living in. He didn't trust Drew Kane, especially not with raising his son Wiley, or the daughter he shares with Willow. The more time passed, the more Michael felt a gnawing urgency. His kids were slipping away from him, emotionally and physically, and he needed to act. Returning to Port Charles, Michael was met with cautious relief and quiet suspicion. While Carly, Joss, and Sonny were overjoyed at his full recovery, others, like Drew and Willow, worried about what his return meant. Michael played it calm at first, not wanting to disrupt the balance too quickly. But behind that calm demeanor, he was already preparing to dismantle the facade that Drew and Nina had built. The secret weapon? A video. Michael had obtained footage. Whether by surveillance, a private investigator, or someone else's mistake, it's still unclear. But what matters is this: he had undeniable proof that Drew and Nina had slept together. The timing of the encounter fell in a morally gray area. It occurred before Drew officially began dating Willow, but well within a window when he was already deeply embedded in her life. The fact that Drew had never disclosed this to Willow, coupled with Nina's already strained maternal connection to her, made this more than just a past indiscretion. It was a betrayal. Michael didn't confront Drew. He didn't blackmail Nina. He went straight to Willow. He asked to meet privately, no lawyers, no children, no family. Just the two of them, alone in her apartment. She was guarded at first, unsure what Michael wanted to say, expecting maybe another conversation about custody, or perhaps a quiet plea for understanding. What she got was something she never imagined. Michael pulled out his phone and said, "There's something you need to see." I didn't want to believe it either. He handed her the device and pressed play. Willow watched in silence. What began as disbelief quickly turned into heartbreak. The video clearly showed Drew and Nina in a moment of physical intimacy. There were no timestamps, no explanations. But Willow didn't need them. The context was clear. The pain was instant. Her knees buckled slightly, and she sat down. Two people she trusted. Two people she leaned on. Two people who had sworn they only had her best interests at heart had lied. Willow began to cry. She asked Michael where he got it, but his answer didn't matter. The truth was undeniable. More than the act itself, it was the concealment that broke her. Drew had looked her in the eyes countless times and promised her honesty. Nina had begged for her forgiveness, pleaded for a second chance as a mother. And now it was all hollow. Michael didn't push. He simply said, "I'm not showing you this to hurt you. I'm showing you because you deserve the truth. And our kids deserve parents who aren't lying to each other." That night, Willow ended things with Drew. Drew, sensing something was wrong, had come by to talk about a potential family trip. Willow opened the door, pale and tear-streaked, holding back sobs. When she told him it was over, he didn't understand. When she told him why, he crumbled. Drew tried to explain. He said it happened before anything serious had developed between them. He said it didn't mean anything. He said he didn't tell her because it would only hurt her. But none of it worked. Not this time. You lied, Willow said quietly. You looked me in the eye and made me feel like I was the only one who mattered. And then you partnered with the one person who's hurt me more than anyone. Willow's voice didn't rise. She didn't scream. But her tone carried the finality of a door closing forever. Drew begged. He offered to walk away from the custody case. He said he would leave Port Charles. He said he would never forgive himself. Willow said nothing. She closed the door. Then came Nina. The next day, Nina arrived at Willow's home, her face already strained with worry. She had heard about the breakup. She didn't know the cause yet, but she knew something had shifted. When Willow opened the door, Nina smiled nervously, asking if she could come in. Willow stepped aside without a word. Nina talked. She fumbled. She tried to offer support, even without knowing what had happened. Then Willow turned to her and simply asked, "How long were you going to keep lying to me?" Nina froze. Willow continued. "You begged to be in my life. You begged to be a mother. But you were sleeping with Drew. And you said nothing." Nina's silence was answer enough. Willow's hands shook as she picked up a family photo and stared at it. "I'm done, Nina. You're not my mother. You've crossed too many lines. I forgave you for everything with Wiley. I tried. I really tried. But this? This is too much. You don't get to betray me and pretend like it's love." Nina tried to explain. She said it had been one moment. A mistake. That she never meant to hurt her. But Willow was already walking to the door. "I'll be polite when you visit the children," Willow said. "But that's all." Nina left in tears. Back at Michael's house, the atmosphere was calmer but uncertain. Michael didn't gloat. He didn't smile. He knew the cost of the truth, and he didn't enjoy Willow's pain. But he stood by his decision. She had the right to know. And now, he hoped there could be healing not just for them, but for Wiley and Amelia. Whether or not Michael and Willow will reunite is unclear. Willow is still raw, still processing the betrayal. But something has shifted. Her walls have dropped. She and Michael have shared quiet moments again, preparing snacks for the kids, laughing at Wiley's drawings, sitting together during bedtime stories. It's subtle, but familiar. Michael hasn't asked her to come back. He knows better than to pressure her. But when Willow looked at him the other day and said, "Thank you for telling me the truth," he knew it meant something. Port Charles is watching. Drew has retreated. Nina is broken. And Michael and Willow? They're closer than they've been in a long time. Next, we will dive deep into the dramatic twists surrounding Kai Taylor's unexpected appearance at the nurses' ball, his alarming recovery trajectory, and the ripple effects that could shake Port Charles to its core. Buckle up for an emotional roller coaster as we explore Kai's journey, Trina Robinson's unwavering support, and the mounting tensions with Congressman Drew Cain, all while uncovering new layers of heartbreak, betrayal, and public backlash in this sprawling saga. At the heart of this storyline is Kai Taylor's jaw-dropping surprise at the nurses' ball, an event that left attendees, and especially Trina Robinson, stunned and elated. Just days after undergoing a highly experimental surgery, Kai defied all medical expectations by walking into the gala, a living testament to hope and resilience. Nurse Stella Henry had firmly believed Kai's release from General Hospital would be delayed well past the event, citing the risky nature of the procedure and the need for intensive monitoring. Yet, there he was, dressed to the nines, flashing a confident smile as he reunited with Trina under the glittering chandeliers. Whispers of a medical miracle circulated among the guests, with many marveling at how Kai seemed to have bounced back from such a grueling operation in record time. However, beneath the surface of this triumphant moment, a shadow of doubt looms. Could this rapid recovery be too good to be true? Some hospital insiders speculate that Kai's doctors may have pushed boundaries to make this moment possible, potentially overlooking critical post-op protocols in their rush to showcase a success story. As the nurses' ball unfolded, Kai appeared to be the picture of health, dancing with Trina and mingling with Port Charles's elite as if the surgery had never happened. Onlookers couldn't help but notice the sheer determination in his eyes, a young man eager to reclaim his life after months of uncertainty. But this meteoric recovery raises red flags among medical experts at General Hospital, who warn that such a swift turnaround could signal overlooked complications or an incomplete healing process. Kai, buoyed by his apparent strength, might be tempted to skip crucial follow-up appointments, convinced that he's out of the woods. Sources close to him reveal that he's even shrugged off reminders from hospital staff, insisting he feels better than ever. Trina, though overjoyed by his presence at the ball, can't shake a nagging feeling that something isn't right. During a quiet moment away from the crowd, she gently probes Kai about his health, only to be met with a reassuring grin and a dismissive "I've never felt better." Yet, her instincts as someone who knows him deeply hint at a facade. One that could crumble at any moment. The cracks in Kai's recovery begin to show in the days following the nurse's ball, painting a chilling picture of what might lie ahead. Imagine a serene morning in Kai's apartment, the sun filtering through the curtains as he swings his legs out of bed, ready to tackle the day. Suddenly, a sharp jolt of weakness shoots through his limbs, and he stumbles, barely catching himself on the nightstand. Heart pounding, he chalks it up to a fleeting moment of fatigue. After all, he'd walked just fine the day before. Within minutes, his legs steady, and he convinces himself it's nothing worth mentioning. But this small, secret incident marks the beginning of a disturbing pattern. Kai, fiercely independent and unwilling to admit vulnerability after fighting so hard to recover, buries the truth deep, even as fleeting episodes of instability crop up more frequently. He avoids mirrors, fearing they might reflect a man losing control, and dodges Trina's concerned glances with forced laughter. Unbeknownst to him, these early warnings are the first whispers of a devastating storm on the horizon, one that could upend his life far beyond what he ever anticipated. Trina Robinson, ever perceptive, soon picks up on subtle changes in Kai's demeanor, her heart sinking as she watches the man she loves struggle to maintain his usual stride. During a casual stroll through the park, a place where they've shared countless memories, she notices a slight hesitation in his steps, a faltering rhythm that wasn't there before. When she presses him about it, Kai's defenses go up, his voice takes on a sharp edge as he insists everything is fine, brushing off her worries as overreactions. But Trina isn't convinced. Late at night, she confides in a close friend at General Hospital, voicing her fears that Kai is hiding something serious. Her friend urges her to trust her gut, reminding her of the high stakes tied to experimental procedures like Kai's. Determined to protect him, Trina stages a more direct confrontation, cornering Kai after one particularly shaky moment she witnesses firsthand. After a tense back and forth, Kai's facade finally cracks, and he admits to the recurring difficulty in walking, his voice trembling with a mix of fear and shame. Without hesitation, Trina takes charge, her resolve stealing as she insists they head to General Hospital immediately for answers. No more delays, no more denial. The visit to General Hospital delivers a gut-wrenching blow that neither Kai nor Trina could have braced for. After a battery of tests, the doctor sits them down with a grave expression, revealing that Kai's body is rejecting the effects of the surgery, leading to a rapid regression. The worst-case scenario unfolds in stark clarity. Kai faces the imminent threat of permanent paralysis, a condition that will lock him into a reality far grimmer than before the operation. The surgery, initially hailed as a groundbreaking success, was only a temporary fix, and now the underlying damage is resurfacing with a vengeance. Kai's world shatters as he grapples with the betrayal of his own body, tears welling up as he processes the life-altering news. Trina, though devastated, remains his rock, holding his hand tightly as they navigate this dark turn. The doctor warns that while certain therapies might delay the progression, the outcome remains bleak. In the quiet of the examination room, Kai's mind races to the person who championed this procedure in the first place, Drew Kane, the congressman who persuaded him to take the risk with promises of a brighter future. Fueled by despair and a burning need for accountability, Kai confronts Drew Kane in a heated exchange that reverberates through Port Charles. With raw emotion, Kai accuses Drew of pushing him into a surgery with no guarantees, holding him responsible for the looming paralysis that threatens to steal his independence. Drew, caught off guard by the intensity of Kai's pain, offers a somber apology, emphasizing that he only wanted to help and that the risks were always part of the conversation. But his words ring hollow to Kai, who feels misled by glossy assurances and financial backing that now seem like a careless gamble with his life. News of this clash spreads like wildfire, igniting a public relations nightmare for Congressman Kane. Trina and Curtis Ashford, protective of Kai and skeptical of Drew's motives, seize the moment to amplify the narrative, framing Drew as reckless in his influence over vulnerable individuals. Local media outlets run with the story, splashing headlines that paint Drew as a man who prioritized political optics over genuine care, further tarnishing his already polarizing reputation in the community. The fallout for Drew Kane reaches a fever pitch as public opinion turns sharply against him, with Kai's vocal accusations striking a chord among residents and beyond. At Port Charles University, where Kai was once a celebrated athlete, sports fans organize protests, chanting slogans that decry Drew's involvement in what they call a life-ruining decision. Social media platforms buzz with hashtags demanding accountability, and Drew finds himself at the center of a storm he can't easily escape. Long-standing critics of the congressman revel in this latest scandal, while even some of his supporters begin to question whether his heart was truly in the right place. For Kai, the public's outrage offers a bittersweet sense of validation, though it does little to ease the personal torment of his deteriorating condition. As the battle lines deepen, Port Charles braces for what's next. Will Kai's health decline as feared, and can Drew weather this relentless wave of backlash? What do you think, loyal viewers? Could Kai face an even darker setback as his story unfolds? Will the specter of permanent paralysis become his reality, or might a last-minute medical breakthrough offer hope? And how will Drew Kane navigate the growing animosity in Port Charles? Will he take full responsibility, or fight to salvage his name? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and stay tuned to ABC General Hospital spoilers for all the latest twists in this gripping drama.